Lokati here. We are going to talk about Recomb crafting real quick because it's still something that is very important, but also very elusive to a lot of players. So we'll kind of go over the basics here. So first things first, you need to prepare a whole bunch of sheets. Whatever, you need to prepare a whole bunch of bases. Want all of these bases to be available so that you can use. So typically I'll prepare somewhere around 15 or so bases. And so you're going to start off by grabbing a couple of your bases. This misalignment. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. We're going to grab a couple of our bases. And you're going to be looking for one prefix on this one. And then we'll just paint with a white background. We'll do one prefix on this one, and then we'll do the same thing down here. One suffix on this one. So this will be your starting point, and you'll have two sets of these. Two sets of these shields, or these swords, or these daggers, whatever it is that you're trying to build. Now, the ideal result is going to be a 5 affix item. You could try for a 6 affix item, but they're very hard to make. So the ideal situation is a 5 affix item. That's what we'd be going for 90% of the time. Now, when you're in this situation, you have two choices. You got two choices. You can either regal, annul here, or you can risk more on the second craft. If you regal annul all of these items, they will all be rare. The resulting item will be rare. And you can spend more currency to increase the chances of the next step working. I typically do not regal annul here because I typically don't spend extra currency on the next step. We'll talk about that. So you're going to end up with a shield that is going to be here. Guy up here. So you're going to end up with a shield here. After smashing these two together, that is going to be one prefix and it's going to be one suffix. And so this is a result of these two shields. This is what you need to do. And then, surprisingly enough, you're going to do the exact same thing down here. Go paint skill. Be better. That's good enough to me. So these two go together to make this. These two go together to make this. Now you've got a 1 and a 1 and a 1 and a 1. This 1 and the 1 can be your regal annul, or this one can be your regal annul. But one of these, and it doesn't matter which one necessarily that you pick, but we're going to go to step 2 is going to be an orange. And so we're going to regal annul rare. Now, if you miss this step and you rip one of your suffixes, go right back to the beginning. This shield you don't worry about. That's a separate step. This one, you go right back to the beginning. And so you can recombinate here, both of them, and you got a 50% chance of hitting this one and a 50% chance of hitting this one, which statistically is what, a 25% chance of success. Or you can smash them together and get to here, and then you got a 33% chance of recombinating this one off. But then you've only got a 50% chance of this working, but it's the same either way. I think statistically it's better to recombinate here personally. Either one works. Up here, we don't have to recombinate this one because we're going to be smashing this one into another affix. So you're going to come in here, going to do a little plussy here, because we're going to add a shield. We're going to need a little shield. And here you're going to do a 1 prefix. It's important. This one needs to be a prefix. The 1 prefix here. Now again, if you want to protect this craft, you have a choice. You can do one of two things. You can either spend 2 div multi-modding plus chosen order, 1 or both items. If you want to multi-mod chosen order this one, it would have to be regal and old in order to multi-mod chosen order it. Now the reason for adding chosen and order mods, this would be fire and chaos, double elemental damage, any explicit modifier. The reason is if we add in 6 explicit modifiers to the total pool, then that means we would have 9 prefixes total. Or sorry, 9 affixes total when we're mashing them together. It's a, sorry, 4 and 5, yeah, 9 total. It's a very high likelihood that it's going to grab one of the multi-mod crafts, and then it will remove all of the other ones from the pool because they can't choose more than one explicit, and we're only left with these 3 affixes that we want. And with a 9 affix size pool, it's a very, very high chance that we're going to get all of them. Now, from a min-max standpoint, you would want more chosen orders on prefix because we have 2 needed prefixes. If multi-modding. So the reason we say that is we want the prefix pool to be full. So there's a greater chance that it grabs 2 or 3 because we want it to grab 2 or 3. So that's how this second part of the craft works right here. Now, once we're done with this, and if we get this shield, then come over here and we have a shield. This shield, or this item, I say shield because we've been talking about crafting shields. So this shield or this item we're going to paint in green now. This is now a 2 prefix, 1 suffix. Now this guy has been regal annulled to rare. And so this guy we're going to bring over. Yep. My awesome lacking Photoshop skills. Oh, this guy we're going to bring over to here. Video. And we're going to mash these 2 together. This is a 1 suffix plus 1 prefix. Rare. Very important that it is all of that stuff. Now we're going to add these two guys together. And we're going to make an item. Now again, we want to increase the modifiers in the pool. We're going to do that by putting more explicit modifiers on the item. So the explicit modifiers that we're going to put on the item are beastcraft aspect plus multimod plus order plus 2 order chosen. That's what's going to go on this one. We have room for 4 affixes, so we're going to put 4. Up here, we have multimod plus 2 order chosen. We only have room for 3 affixes on this one, so we're going to put our 3 affixes on this one here. And once those are done, we mash them together. And if the world is excited and happy and wants to grant us with everything that we've ever dreamed, we're going to get a shield. We're going to get a good shield. We're going to talk about the options that you know what's going on. So this is very, very likely going to be a 3 prefix, 2 suffix, crafted mod suffix. And this is what we want. And it's very likely what it is going to be. Now, anything in the world could happen. It could grab prefixes first. So there's a 50% chance of that. If it grabs prefixes first, we're going to, and then once it grabs prefixes, there's a 50% chance that it grabs one of our multi-mods. If it grabs prefixes first, and it grabs a multi-mod first, then we're going to lose a prefix. Nothing we can do about that. There's like a 25% chance of that happening. So there's a 25% chance of loss of 1 prefix. Now you can craft on maybe a subpar benchcraft prefix by removing the crafted mod that it put on there, but that's kind of where we're at on that. There's a 50% chance that it grabs suffixes first. If it grabs suffixes first, then it doesn't matter what happens. You're golden. It's gonna grab a suffix. If it's a good one, that's fantastic. If it's not a good one, who cares? That's fantastic. If it grabs the aspect and you don't need the aspect, it's kind of a downer because you're going to have a 5 affix shield that you cannot benchcraft on. So there is a 50% chance it grabs suffixes. Then there's a 50% chance that it grabs a multi-mod, or not a 50. There's a 60% chance. What is it? What is 4 divided by 6? There's a 66% chance that it grabs a crafted mod, and then there is a 33% chance that it grabs your beastcraft. So all that math together, you've got roughly 7% chance that it's going to grab the beastcraft. You're still going to have a 5 affix shield, but it's going to grab the beastcraft. And if you don't need the beastcraft, that can be annoying because you just got 1 dead mod on your 5 mod shield. If it grabs anything else but the beastcraft first, you're good. And if it grabs one of the multi-mods at any point during the process, then your beastcraft gets junked anyway. And so it's ideal. So you've got a very high chance of success if it grabs suffixes first. And then it'll go to prefixes, and then the whole pool will be empty. There'll just be the 3 prefixes you put there. And then you've got like a very high percent chance that it grabs 3 prefixes out of a pool of 6. So the craft will probably go good right there and get it all put together. If at any point in time it grabs a multi-mod craft or a chosen craft, and you get your 2 suffixes, but you only get 2 prefixes, you still got a good shield, and you could slam that back into a regal annulled 1 suffix, 1 prefix, beast mod crafted back over again. That is an option. Not an ideal situation, but it is an option. That is Recomb crafting on the whole. Now, I did one specifically for our shield crafting as well. This is for the shield that I use in my Flicker Strike build, in my Splitting Steel build, in a lot of my builds. It's just a really good shield. This one is basically the same thing. One prefix, one suffix. You're going to do spell block and suppression here. You're going to do block and recover life up here. Recover life on block here. This one, you need to mash these two together. You need to regal annul it first or regal annul it afterwards, just like before. And then Beastcraft on. But the Beastcraft is good for the Flicker Strike build. And you do the same thing down here. Spell block and suppression. 50-50 that's going to grab them. Over here, spend multi-mod chosen orders to get the 1P, 1S to 1P to get us our 2P, 1S. And then Beastcraft on here, and then multi-mod, chosen order, crafting together, smash, get a shield. So it'll work with any item. It prefers... It's easier to make items with 3 preferred prefixes and 2 preferred suffixes. And then potentially having room for a crafted suffix on the back of it. I used this to make my shield in-game that I'm using, which turned out perfect. I wanted Aspect of the Cat on there. I got it to grab the Aspect of the Cat, and I got every other mod in the pool that I wanted. And so, it's T1 chance to block, T1 chance to block spell damage, T1 life, Aspect of the Cat, T1 recover life, T1 chance to suppress spell damage. Perfect shield. Got it on the second shot. So my total investment in this shield was like 25 div to craft it. Your investment could vary. This is 2 div. This is 2 div. This is 2 div. This is 2 div. So you've got 8 div here, potentially. You could spend divs here to control these crafts as well, if you want to make it a little bit more deterministic. But, I mean, this is just a null crafting first to get your 1 prefix, 1 suffix, 1 prefix, 1 suffix. Get your bases, annul them until you have what you want. Or, sorry, alteration, spam them until you have what you want. Annul off anything excess, and then you're good with these right here. So I typically don't spend money on this right here. But these are all your options. And Recomb crafting is complicated. It's very powerful. It's an important skill to learn. It's a little daunting at first. And so if you have questions, come by Twitch, stop in, say, hey, how do I craft this? We'll walk you through it again. I don't mind helping people craft anytime I can. If I've got gold, I'll run the craft through my recombinator. People seem to think streamer clients have privilege. Happy to use that privilege. Thank you very much for watching. Y'all have a wonderful day. Peace.